Hi guys, welcome to this episode of my Warhammer 40k Conquest review. Some of you may have noticed that last weekend I didn't get a weekend show done. I was invited to a friend's wedding. I didn't have time. There's some interesting stuff that I want to talk about. I'm going to try and catch up later in the week if I can. But yeah, my friend had a wedding and then announced she was pregnant, and lots of fun, enjoyment all round. Sadly, as I'm getting back into work and getting more work and then having other things to do, my time is getting ripped to pieces. Which is why I'm down to like just one or two like broadcasts a week kind of thing. Still, hope you enjoy this one, and I hope you enjoy everything else on the channel. And sorry about missing out on Saturday. This week we're dealing with issue 46 of Warhammer Conquest. On the back of this one we have some Death Guard reinforcements, we have a Death Guard Terminator and a bloat drone. So you can see some gorgeous batteries on the back. I'm just going to open this up and get to the goodies. Quite a lot in this one. As you can see, all the bases. We've got 432mm, one, I have no idea what mil this is, one of the Terminator sizes, and this one will be for the fetid bloat drone. This one's quite squarish. Getting a lot of difference in GW bases these days. I don't know if you guys are noticing it, but these bases are almost rounded, whereas these bases have the bigger bases have a much sharper edge. They've all got Games Workshop. That's a copyright 2002 on it. This one is a copyright 2013. So they're genuine GW bases. But that's just a random little fact I've noticed there. If you guys are finding different, let me know. Maybe it's something random. I don't know. Maybe they're looking at cheaper base supplies. I don't know. I quite like the one with the sharper edge. That's just because unlike the other bigger bases, it doesn't have this little dimple in the middle. I always find the little dimple annoying. You've got to smooth over it if you want your base to look good. But on to the good stuff. We've got some pretty amazing stuff this week. It's all on one sprue, so I'm not entirely sure where this sprue is from. It might have been Dark Imperium. I don't remember what the Death Guard sprues look like in Dark Imperium, because I split my copy of Dark Imperium with my friend Carl. He took all the Death Guard, I took all the Primaris. But I've had a look at the stuff, and if you were to buy this separately, it's quite expensive. So I'll just get up there so you can see here we've got some really good quality plastic there, very nice in the details. Like I say, well, I'm not a fan of all the bloated rotting stuff and all the intestines and that. I'm not a fan, it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't dislike Nurgle, I just don't enjoy Nurgle. But whilst I'm not a fan of the stuff specifically, the quality of the work, the detail on this stuff is frankly amazing. It's easy to see with this stuff why GW are at the top of the market, and then you look at the price and you can sort of understand why. But if we break this stuff down for $7.99 this week, so whilst we may complain about the price that GW does in general, be aware this is put out by GW, and you can get this. You can go out to the shops now and buy this, and it will give you one Death Guard Terminator. Now, I can't see prices for individual Death Guard Terminators, and this guy doesn't appear to be a special character. I may get into the book in a minute and find out that he is, in which case his price will go up. But if you were to just use him, for example, as Death Guard Terminator, it's £35 for a pack of 5, and you divide that by 5, it's £7 each. So that's £7 worth of model. You've got the 4 Death Guard reinforcements. If you go and look on GW's website, that's £25 worth of models. So already we're up to £32 worth of models. And then if you go and look at the fetid blight drone, one of those is worth £30. So we're looking at £62 worth of models. Is that one? £7, £20, £25. Yeah, £62 worth of models. You can get it slightly. You can do it slightly cheaper than that. The Death Guard reinforcements, you get 4 of them. If you look at the Death Guard packs, you get 3 easy to build ones for a tenner. So that might be more appropriate. Even then, that would you're getting 3 instead of 4, but even that would reduce it down to what we're talking 25, 32, £42 bare minimum. So even if you get the cheaper versions, and you can argue these might be the slightly cheaper versions because they are the easy to build versions, you're still looking at a massive saving when you're paying just £8 for the lot. If this is part of Dark Imperium, that's about £100. This would be at best, one sprue of the models, given all the stuff that comes in Dark Imperium. You're still talking £25. If you break it down, say, ignore the rules and all the bump you get with it, because you get a lot of bump, and the rulebook is a massive rulebook, probably worth 50 quid. So I mean, even if it is a Dark Imperium thing, you're still looking at a lot of cool stuff there. And however you break it down, you're making a significant saving at £7.99. So it's worth remembering that GW are doing stuff like this to allow people to get in on a budget. It's certainly, I think, doubled the size of my army so far. So you're making a massive saving. If you just start watching, keep an eye on this at the end of the video, or you can listen to all the rubbish I'm about to say, or you can just fast forward to the end. There will be a competition where you can win this, because I ain't keeping it. It's no good to me, and I'm a firm believer that models should be played with. So that's going up as part of a competition. If you don't know how already, then find out how at the end of the video. Here we've got the little bump and the coveted signature of Ian. And then first thing on, it goes on to the fetid blight drone, which is I think the 3rd or 4th vehicle we've had for Nurgle. We've had the little plague crawler drone. We've had the plague burst thing. We've had a rhino. So this would be at least vehicle number 4 for Nurgle. I'm not sure where we are vehicle wise for the Primaris. I know we've had a lot of characters, a lot of reinforcements, a bunch of flying guys, but I think we've only had a walker so far for the Primaris. Yeah, we're a bit behind on the vehicles of Primaris. The only vehicle we've had so far for the Primaris has been the Dreadnought. Pretty fantastic vehicle. The new Primaris Dreadnoughts are huge compared to the old Dreadnoughts, and really hench. But vehicle number 4, I believe, fetid blight drones labour through the air, but on buzzing turbine engines like armoured biomechanical flies, which is what they are. These hideous demon engines bring monstrous weapons to the battlefield to annihilate carrying enemies of the Death Guard. It's worth noting that when I say vehicle, there isn't anybody in this vehicle. In all fairness, I doubt there's been anybody in any of the vehicles except the Rhino. These things are basically, they're demon engines. So basically the demon forges build these things and then cram demons in there, and it's a way that demons can take form in the material realm without actually having to take a form. So this is basically like a demon possessing a machine more than a vehicle. So it even has a kind of demonic flesh, as you can see on the thing there. So these aren't vehicles or remote control or run by AIs. They're weird little demons that buzz around like flies. So that's pretty fucking cool. And again, a little side thing for anybody who doesn't know, it's not actually normal or easy for a demon to exist in the material realm. They suffer from a thing called dimensional instability, where they're literally held together by their own force of will or rituals that have summoned them. And if those rituals break or their force of will wavers, say they're being stabbed a lot, they'll literally just sort of evaporate back into ether and then drift back to the realm of the warp. So this is actually quite an important kind of step forward in the Chaos Army, the ability to bind it into a physical form so it can exist without struggle is massively important. I would imagine that the demon inside this is probably a lot stronger when in the warp, and possibly if it was summoned straight out, it would be a lot nastier. But this is a way that they can bring demons into the real world. So all this is pretty chuffing cool. Anyway, yeah. These hideous demon engines bring monstrous weapons onto the battlefield tonight. They're carrying enemies of death guards. With their rusted plates of wrought iron armour and flabby foul flesh, fetid blight drones can withstand ferocious amounts of firepower and still keep fighting. They're designed to hover close, drift over the deadliest terrain and provide fire support for their mortal masters. So basically active fire support and mobile fire support, similar to the... my brain is just... It's too hot, my brain's not working. No, it's not coming to me. Similar to the Primaris Marines first jump out, guys, where you get the plasma guns, not the aggressors. Damn it, I cannot remember. My brain wants to say intercessors, but I don't mean intercessors. I might mean interceptors. But basically the guys that come from high orbit and run around with the huge backpacks, they're awesome. And they're basically, this performs a similar job. Its job is to fly around the battlefield, providing heavy fire support wherever it's needed. Similar role to a land speeder or something else, or to a land speeder or perhaps a bike, in the idea that it's not particularly going to be heavily gunned and it's not particularly tough, but it can be wherever you need it to be on the battlefield, and it has some reasonably good guns. Basically, it's a heavy weapons platform, so that's pretty cool and pretty useful, and it's really buying into GW's new sort of strategies on this, where not everything is assault or sit down and shoot. They've been really investing in making the game a lot more dynamic, so that you can get guys across the field, you can move your troops much more easily, and you don't have to, particularly with Space Marines, you don't have to just sit there doing now. And the units that are there can get support, so you don't lose the battle in any one particular phase. Some of the previous editions, if you set up wrong and your opponent could isolate your troops, he could munch down on like half your army to a very minimal loss if he could focus his troops, and then you'd have half your army left, and he'd have maybe 3/4 of his, and he'd just beat you on numbers. Then I regularly did that with Space Wars, because you could make Space Wars quite mobile. I regularly fought refused flank, which is one of the strategies, wiped out half an army with all of my army, and then went for what was left of my army with significant number advantage. For anyone that tried sort of sitting, it was always an advantage. And they've included some of the more mobile stuff to make sure this doesn't happen too much. Death Guard, being a very slow moving, we chew everything up army, are in desperate need of something like this tactically. Because if you can isolate the army and chew it up in bits, if you can take out a unit here, a unit there, whilst, for example, if classic battle that me and French used to fight, used to have the Fortress of Redemption, or as I used to call it, the Fortress of Solitude, which is the big towering building with the sort of the Dark Angel symbols on it. We used to have that, and it'd make a great piece in the middle of the battlefield. But if I could place myself on one side and a big chunk of his forces on the other side, that would mean I could just shoot and steam at one part of his army, while the other part of his army had to move around this massive building to get gun range and line of sight on me. And if you can do that, if you can use the scenery, the terrain, or your troops to isolate bits of Death Guard army, they're going to be much easier to handle than trying to take the army on all at once, because they're just so tough that in a grinding battle you're going to struggle. This helps Death Guard armies prevent that. If they've got to spread across the field, if they've got to go and capture objectives, they are going to suffer from the fact that they're meant to be a slow, grinding, chunky army. And if you're playing them to theme and you're not including loads of other stuff, you're going to want stuff like the fetid blight drones, like the actual the fly drones with the guys flying around, like all that other. Well, like the other few bits and pieces they've got that are fast, just to move between your sort of islands of really slow but really tough Death Guard. And at the same time, these things they're tougher than your average flyer, but they're not that tough in in comparison to like a repulsor grav tank or a Land Raider. So they can get taken out reasonably easily. So you've got to be careful for them, and you've got to think tactically. But they allow the Death Guard player to not just have one type of play and one style of thing. So they're really a fantastic addition to your force. I almost said spastic then, which would be ironic because I have Tourette's and that is a form of spastic, and my Tourette's is the one making me say it. I don't like that word, I just thought the explanation was due. I think I'm being a bit quiet. I'm going to try and raise my voice so you guys can hear me. I'm blathering on. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. They hovering close, drifting over the deadliest of terrain, providing sporting fire with their mortal masters. What we got? They're equipped with a pair of plague spitters, perfectly crafted for anti-infantry. We have encountered the plague spitters before, I believe. They are the weapons that are on the side of the Myotic Blight Crawler. So I'd imagine they're going to be the same. Again, you can see them there. They're kind of a spray weapon that drenches you in corrosive, corrupt disease foam. So that's pretty cool. It goes through their battle, type, demon engine, role, mobile support, specialisms, anti-infantry, anti-armor, and biological warfare. Notable battles, the invasion of Ultramar and the Paradaxian War. Now you're getting one, but they often operate in threes. You will find that a lot of the lighter vehicles operate best in groups. This is just because it gives them survivability. You can take out one or two of them and they still got a chance to hit back. Whereas running around for a single one, there is a significant chance it's going to be taken down. Again, anybody who's played with land speeders, anybody who's played with Space Marine bikes knows this. Anybody who's played with the little Tau land shark things, again, you know that if you have these guys off by themselves, then they're easy to take out. Any of the lighter vehicles or the walkers or the sentinels, they usually pack a punch. They're almost always quite nippy and quick compared to other vehicles. But what they gain in speed, they sacrifice in armor, wounds, and obviously therefore survivability or hull points in the case of vehicles. So it's important to either put them in groups to increase their survivability, or use them very carefully and very tactically using cover and such where you can to keep them alive. Otherwise, they will just get shot out of the sky. Get some beautiful models there. There's a massive pair of wings. Is that on the top of Mortarion? Oh yeah, there he is. There's Mortarion there. You can't see him very well, but you can see his beautiful fly wings. Other bloat drones are outfitted for anti-armor roles with heavy blight launchers. There you go. These guns fire volleys of putrid shells that reduce battle tanks to corrode wrecks in moments. So you've got multiple options to equip these guys with. This one is just the what are they called it? My brain. Just the plague spitters. This is effectively an easy to build version, which means, as with most of the other stuff we've been getting from Conquest, it might not be tournament optimal, but then again, Conquest isn't aimed at the tournament players. It's aimed at getting new guys in to play fun, friendly games with your mates rather than high competition gamers. I'm not saying you won't have tournament optimal stuff. I'm just not saying you absolutely will. It depends what's tournament optimal at the time, but if you've only got one option, then that's the option you're going to build. Nothing stopping you conversing. Got a lovely picture here of the Blight Drone, breaking it down, your turbines, your demonic flesh, your plague probe. There's a little sort of needle there which looks like a proboscis. I want to say what that does. Also a third, no, it doesn't say there. Demons of this bloat drones are more aggressive and spiteful than other demons of Nurgle. Some are so ill-tempered they seek only to charge into combat, so they cannot be trusted with ranged weapons. They are instead fitted with flesh mowers, which sounds amazing. These heavy cylinders of rusted iron blades which thrust out in front of the demon. These weapons were, as they sever limbs and reduce the foe to a fleshy pulp. So that's pretty cool as well. Here you can see the three of them. You can see there's the spitter, there's the heavy weapon combo, and there's the flesh mower, which is literally a massive lawnmower blade. The thing will just fly into you and trim you like grass. So that's pretty messed up as well. There's some pretty awesome stuff here. There's some great ideas. Oh, look at that. You got the beautiful bone bits acting as exhaust. I do really like the combination of organic and mechanical that comes with the Nurgle stuff. It's really good. Some of it does seem to cross over a little bit to Tyranids or Styles, but at the same time, you know, it's insectile, it's biomechanical, there's going to be some similarity. A pair of plate splitters can spray a torrent of liquid, disease and rock contagion. The heavy blight launcher launches explosive shells packed with the deadly plague. Where are we? Bloat drones are often accompanied by plague flies, and then you've got the flesh mower hangs below the bloat drone to carve entire units of enemy infantry into ragged chunks as they pass through. So that's all pretty cool, and it all looks pretty nasty, and yeah. Whether you're a fan of Nurgle or not, you can see that there's some beautifully built models. We've got a how to build thing here. It's clipper safety, important. No one wants to lose an arm. Going through how to build your death guard first, then going through how to build your fetid blight drone, and then building your Lord of Contagion. Oh, he's a Lord of Contagion, so he's not a named special character, but he is a Chaos Lord, which yeah, obviously he's a Chaos Lord. Look at the size of the guy, and that's pretty cool. The Lord of Contagion has extra parts. No, not the Lord of Contagion. This sprue has extra parts, which again I think pretty solidly indicates that it's come out of something like a Dark Imperium. And it notes here particularly these special parts are part of another model on another sprue that you haven't got yet. So it advises you store these in a safe place that are used in a later issue. So if you want, you can muck about with conversions of these, but I wouldn't keep them. They'll be part of another model that's coming later, and he's got a plasma gun. Plasma guns are awesome. It's next going through the painting and how you're going to paint up all your cool things, how you're going to make them look amazing and awesome, and how you're going to get the best results out of the paints you've got there. A lot of detail in that one. So yeah, just your washes, all your bits and pieces, and giving you some really nice stuff there. There's some cool stuff there. There we go. Power struggle. Lord Gangrus. Lord Gangrus has been sent to Covon 2 to take over Lord Felthius' command. Only the strongest of the two can command this war. So sorry, twitching there. This is that's really bloody interesting. Obviously, you've already got a leader, but you can't use both of them because they're both leaders. One of them has to be the commander. So this issue, they're doing something different. It's not Space Marines versus Death Guard, or Ultramarines versus Death Guard. It's Death Guard on Death Guard action. Hot, bloated, fetid, corpse on corpse action, baby. With Lord Gangrus, who's your new Death Guard champion, or Death Guard Lord, and your original one, Lord Felthius, who's one of the ones we got earlier, having to fight it out to decide who gets to be in charge of this thing. Chaos reigns. Lord Gangrus and his retinue of Plague Marines have arrived on Covon 2. Gangrus has declared himself Mortarian's chosen commander, much to the annoyance of Lord Felthius. Felthius strives to meet his new rival. Both men see themselves as the rightful commander of Mortarian's forces. This dispute will be settled in blood. That's what it says. So this is pretty cool. If you've been splitting this with a mate, great. If not, you can play by yourself. But yeah, load of fun. Get your mates in, play it. You've got Gangrus's deployment zone, Felthius deployment zone, and they both use the armies. Let's have a look. Gangrus has 5 plague himself, 5 plague marines, the Rhino, the fetid bloat drone, and the noxious blight bringer. Lord Felthius has himself, his tainted cohort, 5 plague marines, a myphetic blight hauler, and the biologous putrefier. So pretty evenly matched, but frankly, I like the myphetic blight hauler's chances. If you can take out that Rhino, then I think Felthius might have the edge there. But I could be wrong on that. I mean, the fetid bloat drone is amazing, and the noxious blight bringer. It is hard to say these words when you have Tourette's and your mouth just wants to go flip, 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 all the bloody time. Anyway, yeah. So that's a new one. That's pretty cool. We've got, again, single-sided, as you can see, the rules for the bloat drone. Let's have a look at that. We have got, with wounds 6 to 10 remaining, you've got a movement of 10, which is very fast. Strength of 6, which is respectable in combat, and 3 attacks. 3 to 5 wounds, movement of 8, strength of 5, still respectable in 2 attacks in combat. So respectable in combat. And down to the last, movement 6, strength 4, and attacks 1. That's 1 to 2 wounds. And that's basically a marine right there. It's got a weapon skill 4+, and a ballistic skill 4+, what you expect from a demon. Toughness of 7, which is good. It's gonna make it quite hard to kill. 10 wounds, as we discussed earlier. A leadership of 8 and a 3+ save. So that's going to be reasonably tough. So that's fairly cool. Fetid Blight Drone is a single model equipped with 2 plague spitters, and a plague probe, which is the little needle that comes out of its face. The spitters, range 9, assault d6, so you can use those and attack at the same time. Strength user, which is 6 to begin with. Okay, that strength becomes even more important as the plague spitters have the user's strength. If you let it take a lot of wounds, and 10 wounds isn't a lot of wounds to have, it's a respectable amount, but it can get whittled down really quickly by a single unit. If you let it take a lot of wounds initially, you're only going to be at strength 5, still good, but not as good as a strength 6. And if the person recognises it with the d6 assault, if a person recognises it for the threat that it could potentially be, if they take it down to 1 or 2 wounds, you're just firing at strength 4. You're basically a bolter. I mean, d6 shots of a bolter, but still. So there's a weapon that pretty much straight away, given the nature of the vehicle, lends itself to alpha strike. Get in there, do the damage before the enemy has a chance to shoot you. If you take fire and they wipe you out afterwards, you've probably done a lot of damage anyway. If you can stay on and survive, you'll get some extra wounds in, but don't expect single flyers or skimmers to survive too long on the battlefield. As with the scouts we discussed last week, they're really good, but often they can get killed in the return salvo. So either use them very cleverly if you're going to send them out by themselves, or use them in support of other units so that they're not the only target the enemy wants to take out, and you can divide your fire away from them so that they can survive as well. You've got the Plague Probe, which is melee. So that's a strength 6. So strength 6, 3 attacks in combat. That's pretty good. You've got AP -2. So right there, you're quite heavily stabbing the crap out of marine armor with that, and D3 damage. So that's 3 times 3 is potentially 9 wounds. If you think about that, taking out the 5 or 10 men unit marines we've seen, 2 wounds each, 9 wounds. Let's divide it down to 8. That's 4 guys dead and a wound hovering around. So that's not bad at all on one charge, if you obviously do the best you could possibly do. Realistically, if you can kill 4 and a bit, you're probably going to kill 3 or 2. yeah, so that's again, that's respectable. Add to the fact that you've got D6 D6 wounds with the plague splitter, -1 armor. Let's say we do 3 wounds, they get less saves. So, let's say we get 3 hits. You know, divide down hits, divide down wounds. You're probably going to be killing at least 1 Marine a turn. And you can reroll ones for this weapon. This weapon automatically hits a target, so you don't have to roll a hit, so that's okay. So just wounds, then you're probably talking 3 to 6, 6 attacks, sorry. You're probably talking, given rerolling the ones, maybe 3 or 4 wounds a turn. Again, so maybe 1 or 2 Marines die in close combat, maybe 1 or 2 Marines die. So with an average, you're talking 3 to 4 Marines, maybe every turn. So you're looking at something that definitely won't win a battle, but is certainly going to swing some hefty stuff in there. You know, with the strength 6 against toughness 4, you're doing better with wounds. Automatic hitting is cool, and with weapon skill 4 versus weapon skill 4, so you half that down and half that down again, so on and so forth. You know the math. You're talking something that can whittle down Marines, or take an extra few Marines out every turn. So that's gonna really help. It's got 2 plague splitters and a plague probe. So that's 2 shots of D6 rather. So that's D12 again. That's much more respectable. Missed that bit of you. So averages. Let's sorry, twitchy. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You're talking 6 hits, 6 wounds a turn from the plague splitter, and then if you've got 3 attacks, you're talking with D3 wounds, 9. Again, we're sort of talking 4 wounds a turn, so maybe 4 hits a turn, maybe 2 wounds a turn. So 6 and 2, that's 8 wounds a turn, maybe. So again, you're up to 4 Marines out of a 10-man squad if you combine everything onto a squad. Being as this thing isn't meant to go by itself and is meant to go as support, you can quite easily see how, if used cleverly, you're hitting it with a squad of Death Guard. You're hitting it with this. That's wiping out a unit, or at least reducing it down to 1 man and having it run away and die. I say run away, die under the new rules. 1.8 rules, I don't even know now. So you're looking at adding this to a Death Guard unit is going to make the difference between having to fight a unit for 2 turns and being able to wipe it out in 1 turn. So that's really useful, particularly considering it's got 10 inches. It can move around the table fairly quickly. Sorry. I'm just going to reach forward. I do keep it all up just in case sometimes. So your 10 inches is that. There's a base for stuff. So boom, that's gonna be quite cool. Okay. We're looking at next week. Next week we're getting the try and not real we are. Next week we've got the Space Marine Speeder coming out. It's another fast vehicle, performs very much a similar function to the Fetid Bloat Drone, sorry. It's fast attack, it's fire support, and it adds a few hits here and there. Then again, another similar fast attack unit. We've got Space Marine bikes. Again, they're really cool. They're fast, they're tough, because you get extra toughness for being on a bike. And they're quite vicious and survivable. 2 of them is not really enough. They'll probably be sending us more in later issues, but 2 bikes is enough to, again, lend support to a unit in combat. So it looks like the next couple of weeks are going to be Marines, but do tune in, because I'm running a pure Primaris army and neither of these are usable by Primaris. So both of these, next week and the week after, are also going to be giveaways. So tune in, and if you make, that competition will be much like this. Actually, I might give the bikes away on my Facebook page, possibly. But yeah, tune in anyway, see what I do. Check out my Facebook page. You can always win things either way. You can enter the competition in any way. You can enter whichever competitions I do. But if you want these, potentially, if you were to buy it in the most expensive method, £62 worth of stuff. at least 30 odd pounds worth of stuff, then make a comment on this video and I will roll a dice and randomly pick from the comments, and whoever gets selected by the Dice of Fate will have this stuff winging their way to them after next week. Okay, as I say, make a comment on this video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope I didn't blather a bit too much. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a nice day, guys. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.